우리 소중한 아이의 첫 영어 교육 어디서 시작할지 알아보고 계시죠? 상담도 여러 군데 다녀보시고요. 커리큘럼 원비 시간표 다 비교해 보실 수 있어요. 그런데 우리 아이의 담임 선생님이 될 분이 어떤 분인지는 밖에서 알 수가 없죠?
I've met children who did 3 years of English kindergarten and could barely say their own name or spell simple words. Their parents were promised fluency and they didn't get anything close to that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a little peek behind the curtain and teach you some of the secrets of the Hagwon industry and give you some insights of what it's like to be a teacher at an English Hagwon in Korea. Because here's secret number 1 for you. You don't even need to have any teaching experience to teach English in Korea. Many parents don't know that. And they're spending a lot of money to have their child taught by someone who is learning how to teach. Does that make sense to you? We're going to tell you all about it in today's episode.
한국에서 원어민 선생님들이 받는 비자가 E2 비자죠? 그 자격 조건이 어떻게 되나요?
You need 2 things. You need a 4-year degree and you need a passport from an English-speaking country.
그러면 교육 전공할 필요가 없다는 건가요?
No, it can be a degree in anything, whether it's accounting or engineering.
그러면 유아를 교육한 경험이 있어야 되는 건 아니고요?
That's the thing that most parents don't know. You don't need any teaching experience to teach English in South Korea.
그럼 어떤 선생님들이 우리 아이들을 가르치게 되는 거죠?
Yeah, it happens all the time. And let me tell you a little story about a girl named Sarah. Sarah just graduated from university. She's 23 years old. She loves BTS and K-pop, so she decided to teach English in South Korea. Now, what kind of degree do you think Sarah would have? Let's say she has an accounting degree. She hops in an airplane and flies halfway around the world. And what happens next is she arrives in Korea and gets into the classroom and finds out she can't manage kids very well. It's stressful for her. And because she can't manage the kids, they're jumping around on the desk. Well, then parents start making phone calls and complaining. And then her manager's in the classroom telling her, hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. Sarah starts to feel that teaching in Korea isn't for her. So she decides to leave in the middle of the night. You know who I feel sorry for? I feel sorry for these parents. These parents were promised a teacher, and that's not what they got.
이런 경우가 자주 있나요?
Yes, it's extremely common. It's so common we have an expression for it. We would call Sarah a tourism teacher.
tourism teacher요?
Yes, a tourism teacher. Sarah is a tourism teacher because she came to South Korea for 1 year and treated it like a vacation. Her job was the reason she could stay here for 1 year.
그럼 세라가 잘못한 건가요?
No, she's not a bad person. But the problem is someone decided it was okay to give an accounting graduate a job that she couldn't handle. Not everyone can just come to Korea and be thrown in a classroom with 5-year-olds. Now, the way Sarah left Korea, there's a name for that too. We would call Sarah a midnight runner.
midnight runner요?
Yes, a midnight runner. Because what Sarah did is she left in the middle of the night. She didn't tell her boss. She didn't tell her coworkers. She just packed her bags and left. Being a midnight runner put her school in a difficult situation because all her coworkers now have to cover her classes. And her boss needs to find a replacement quickly. They're not able to have a really long hiring process. They need to just hire the first teacher that gives them an application. And that means they're going to hire someone who's also not qualified. And it's kind of like a vicious cycle of unqualified teachers.
부모님 입장에서는 그 1년이 우리 아이의 1년인 거잖아요.
If you don't want your child to have an unqualified English teacher, well, it's really important for you to be asking the right questions. And lucky for you, we made a resource to help you out with that.
오늘 저희 유튜브를 보고 계신 학부모님들은 정말 행운이에요. 왜냐하면 학부모님들께서 어떤 상담을 다니실 때 꼭 물어볼 만한 질문을 저희가 학부모 가이드로 만들었거든요. 저희 이메일만 넣어주시면 무료로 다운받을 수 있으니 그 학부모 가이드를 다운받으셔서 상담하실 때 꼭 질문해 보세요.
And in this guide, it has some really smart questions that you should be asking to make sure you have a great teacher for your child. And we'll just discuss a few of those questions right now. So today we're going to share a few of the questions that are in our teaching guide. Let's start with the first one.
우리 아이 담임 선생님이 누구세요? 이름이 어떻게 되시죠?
Now, this is an important question by asking, what's the name of my child's teacher? Because if they don't know your child's teacher's name, that means they haven't hired that person yet. And that means your child's teacher will be someone who has a little experience at that school. What's the second question?
그 선생님이 한국에서 가르친 기간이 얼마나 되죠?
Yes, if your child's teacher has lived in Korea a long time, it means it's much more likely they're going to stay in Korea. They've adapted to the Korean lifestyle and already found out that Korea and teaching is something they like to do. What's the third question?
그 선생님이 그 학원에서 근무한 기간이 어느 정도 되시죠?
This is an important question because you want to find out if the teachers like teaching at that school. Have the teachers wanted to come back year after year after year? You can also find out if the school wants to keep teachers for a long time. Here at DNA, we strongly value teacher retention because after a teacher's been here a year, well, we don't have to train them again, and they can be comfortable in our teaching environment, and they know the DNA way. So you want to make sure your child has a teacher who has stayed at the school, ideally for more than 1 year. What's the fourth question?
그 선생님이 하루 동안 근무하시는 근무량과 시간이 어떻게 되시나요?
If they say 9 to 6, it's too long. That means they're teaching your child from maybe 9:30 till 2:30, and then they have 1, 2, 3, 4 elementary classes after that. So throughout the day, they have your kid, and then they're teaching 40 more elementary students. That means they're stretched pretty thin, and they won't have the energy that your child deserves.
원장님, 그러면 원장님은 선생님들을 고용할 때 어떤 기준을 가지고 선생님들을 채용하시나요?
I look for a few things. First, are they living in Korea? Second, I look for if they've had experience teaching kids that are the same age students as we have here at DNA. Third, I want to make sure that they've been here a long time. We've never hired a first-year teacher in Korea because it's such a high risk. Flying someone from abroad to live halfway around the world is not a risk I'm willing to take with your children. I'll let other schools do that. They can fly the teacher in from abroad, and that teacher can find out that they love Korea and they love children, and they can learn how to teach inside someone else's classroom. And then after they've been doing that for several years, they can apply at DNA. The reason they do that is we pay a little bit more and we have shorter hours, and teachers really value that they are treated like teachers here. They're not micromanaged. My philosophy here at DNA is that if our teachers love coming to work, they're going to give that positive energy right to your kids. And because they give that happy energy to your kids, you're going to be happy when your children come home and say, Mommy, Daddy, I had so much fun and I learned so much today. And that's why we have such great retention here. Every one of our teachers has been here for more than 1 year. And several have been here for 3 years, 4 years. And we've only been open for 5 years. So it's something that we have really special here is our teachers and the environment here at DNA. People love it, and that's what our goal is to have an environment built on love and passion for learning.
원장님이 채용하실 때 꼭 보시는 게 그 선생님이 한국에 산 적이 있는지, 그리고 유아 아이들을 가르친 경험이 있는지, 그리고 선생님이 아이들에 대한 열정이 있는지를 보시는군요.
So we taught you about tourism teachers and midnight runners and questions that you should be asking before you send your child to one of these institutes. And we have so much more that we like to talk about, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
오늘 저희 에피소드에서는 학부모님들이 꼭 아셔야 할 원어민 선생님 채용에 관한 얘기를 했어요. 다음 에피소드에서는 우리 교육기관 선택에 있어서 가장 중요한 핵심 포인트를 찝어드릴게요. 다음 에피소드에서 만나요.